What's up, YouTube, and welcome back for another episode of Homebrew Subaru. I've had a Forester sitting outside my place for a few weeks. It has a fuel leak, which is not common with Subis unless it's like a fuel tank leak. This one's up in the front, and it's actually what she first brought me the vehicle for. It was leaking fuel, and it's actually coming from an injector. I determined that engine had been changed, and while it was out of the vehicle or it was in the past vehicle that might have been in an accident, there's some things on the engine that were damaged and never addressed properly. So this injector being one of them, I think the injector rail took a good smack, kind of bent it and cockeyed it a little bit, and that originally caused the first fuel leak. Basically tore through an O-ring. The fuel pressure finally ate through an O-ring, and it was spitting out there. To repair that, of course, I tried to get injector O-rings in town. I wasn't able to. I called Subaru at the time. They explained to me that I needed to buy a full injector. So I kind of went through my O-ring kit. I doubled up some O-rings after a few tries, and I got that leak sealed. Now that's about a year ago. She's brought it back. It's leaking again. I've already been out to it. I've seen it. I've looked down at it. It's squirting. So I've called back Subaru to try and get an injector, and then the guy explains to me, so I don't know if I have someone different the last time from this time. Oh no, those O-rings are available. So I've got all the O-rings, hopefully, what should be the O-rings, to do the injectors on both, that one side, the driver's side. So I'm going to unbolt the rail, pull the injectors out, come back into the garage, change them all, and then go about trying to get it back together and make sure it's sealed up. It's not something I told her she shouldn't be driving it, because it is literally squirting right out of the side of the injector, like right where it goes up to the rail, and potential fire, and obviously losing fuel and just the smell of fuel. And so hopefully I can take care of this tonight and she can get it back, because she's been waiting for quite a while. So it's actually like 5:30 in the evening. It's pitch black outside. I'm going to try and pull the Forester up to the side, kind of beside my driveway, and work on it there. I did turn the heat on in the garage, but I can tell that there's a little bit of contamination in the hose coming from the tank to the heater. So I've only got it maybe between low and medium heat, which is absolutely fine for today. And I don't really want to be spending too much time outside, so I'm just going to go out. I'll show you exactly where it's leaking from, what's going on, and then I'll take off the injector rail with the injectors, and we'll install some O-rings on the bench. So this is like literally so funny. I hope you guys can hear me okay over the running engine, but it's not leaking right now. So if you, I mean, it's this injector here, and I mean, it was squirting right to the side. I think if I move it, it'll probably start to leak. But it looks, oh no, it is leaking down there. I don't know if the camera can actually pick it up, but there's a little wet, yeah, you'll never be able to see that on camera. There's a little wet spot down past the spark plug wires down in there. So I'm going to pop out this plate, this kind of protection plate, and go ahead, take the injector rail out, or maybe just pop the injectors out of it, bring them inside, change the O-rings, and then come back out and install them. Okay, so I've gotten the injectors out. Obviously I see the problem right away. It's tried to push that one O-ring out of place. Kind of hard to see there, but you can see it dangling out. I actually doubled up the O-rings on there, and one obviously got pushed out at some point, and the fuel's pressure's been able to actually like deform it and probably squeezed it out like that, to the point that fuel was able to leak through. Now I do have what the parts guy listed as the O-rings for these injectors. These ones look very similar to the bottom, and these ones look very similar to the top, although they do look a little bit large. And then these ones don't look like anything that's on this injector, but I'm presuming it's a replacement to go where that little seating point is. So I'm not sure if I'm going to use those ones there, but I'm going to, this is really the one that I need. And looking at it, I don't know, it appears to be too big, but I'm going to try and put it on there and see how it fits. That O-ring's definitely too big. Doesn't belong on this injector. I don't know what to do now. Me. So I've kind of run myself into a little bit of a conundrum here. I've double checked the part numbers. I have the right part numbers. So I had this issue last year with because we had ordered injector O-rings through Napa, and they were also wrong, and I think they were too big as well. So I mean, I can't make a determination on the engine, but I know the engine's been changed, and I would say they have a later model intake manifold on that motor for some strange reason. Why it wasn't swapped from the last one, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure this Forester has not the original injectors that would have come into it. I didn't imagine they would be that many different, but that could be a later engine from like an 08 or an 09. And being in an 07, that's the only thing I can determine. I can't come up with anything else, because the O-ring's quite a bit smaller in diameter and a little bit thicker. So all I'm going to be able to do is do what I did last time. I got my trusty O-ring kit out, and I've gotten 2 of the same sized O-rings that I used in the past. I've doubled them up again. I did actually take off the top cap. Good stuff. I did actually take off the top cap, which I don't know what I did with now, but you can see it on this other injector. It's just this little green plastic ring, and really it just kind of positions the injector and maintains the O-ring in place. I think doubling it up and getting the sides of it against the actual rail, pretty sure it's going to seal. So the only thing I'm going to be really able to do is try these double up O-rings, install it, and see if it leaks. I've put a little bit of brake lube on the outside of the O-ring. You don't want to get it up inside the injector, but that should allow it to seat inside the rail a little easier. And then the bottom O-rings were the correct ones, so I changed those just because they were here. So I'm going to go outside, jam these in, and see if they hold. So yeah, it has taken me multiple attempts. I probably tried 5 times, just pulling the injectors back out, checking the O-rings, trying to get them to reseat again. I finally have it. I finally got it to the point where it seals. I can even wiggle the injectors a little bit and they don't leak. So is it 100%? No. I mean, the last time I did it, it was good too. And I even told her at that time, I mean, this could last for a month, could last a year, and the same with this time. I mean, it could last a few days, it could last another year. So it is sitting here running and not leaking anymore. Everything's dry as a bone, and I think it's going to be okay, but you know, she's going to have to take it and obviously smell if there's fuel leaking out of the thing or whatever, and give it a try. I mean, it's those type of jobs that have been really holding me up on everything else, and I've kind of put a stop to everything. It's just she ran into a little bit of emergency and fuel leaking and a job that I worked on before, so I feel like I need to actually look at it. So I'm glad that it's done with, and gives me the time to push on to other things, I guess. So if you like this video, I know it's a little different, a little strange, not very common, but definitely give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button for me. Leave your questions and comments further down below, and I'll see you in the next one.